black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, rattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue. I'm sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired.
There was a white woman who has now since deleted her video talking about black fatigue and how she and the rest of society are so fed up with the ghetto and ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. Her words, not mine. Couple of things. One, black fatigue is a real thing, but it's not what that lady was saying. Black fatigue is the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So the black community has black fatigue due to the oppression they've lived under in this country since its inception.
Black fatigue is a term that non-black people are using to express the fact that they are sick and tired of being held accountable for saying and doing whatever the hell they want to black people. They're sick and tired of black people bucking up at the system, bucking up at people, telling people, hey, you shouldn't be saying that to us. Hey, you cannot do this to us. Hey, we will not let you disrespect us. Hey, we will not let you say whatever you want and do what you want to us. People are sick and tired of being told no. That is what black fatigue is. You guys are being told no and you don't like it, especially white people. Y'all not used to black people telling you no.
Black fatigue is not what y'all created it to be. It was the fatigue of black people having to exist in this country and dealing with all y'all dumb shit. We were tired, not y'all. Imagine telling the internet that you're tired of all the ghetto-ness and the ratchetness and all of the fights when y'all are quite literally the godfathers of violence in this country. And then all the ghetto and ratchet speak, your kids are emulating exactly what we say and calling it Gen Alpha and Gen Z speak when it was just AAVE repackaged to be palatable for white people. What are we talking, like, y'all are quite literally exhausting. But like 8.5 by 11s are gonna do this all the time. I'm not worried about the hueless. However, the black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. I imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you.
Let's go ahead and talk about black fatigue. This isn't a term for everyone. It was created to help us, black people, explain the deep daily exhaustion we feel from dealing with racism, microaggressions, and being ignored or mistreated by systems that were never built for us. It's not just being tired. It's being worn down mentally, physically, and emotionally because we're constantly surviving in a world that acts like we don't belong in it. Now, here's the part that needs to be said. The audacity of some white men and women that have started using the term like it belongs to them, saying they're fatigued because they're tired of hearing about racism, tired of not being the center of every conversation, tired of being called out. Let me say this, that's not black fatigue. That's discomfort from being held accountable.
You call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. Alright, that's what you say. Nobody digging through your That little kid, you call him the little child? Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be the that. Huh.
So black fatigue has been trending all over social media. What is it? What is black fatigue? I'm going to tell you that black fatigue is the mental, physical, and spiritual exhaustion of black people all over the world over racism, discrimination, tyranny at the hands of the white power structure. That's black fatigue. It is something that black people all over the world feel. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. If you're black, you have black fatigue. It's black people literally saying, you know what, I'm exhausted. I'm tired of the stumbling block that I have to face day in and day out just so I can exist in this thing called life. To get up every day as a black person and to navigate through racism, to navigate through discrimination, to navigate through all the systems and roadblocks and stumbling blocks put in place while we pursue basic necessities of life so we can take care of ourselves and our loved ones. That's exhausting. Because black fatigue is black people essentially, for years, generation after generation, expressing their tiredness, their wits' ends at the injustice that we face at the hands of white society. It's essentially why you're seeing in the news the rise with Africa and Africans pushing back. Black people all over the world are doing this. It's happening in the United States. The protests and the pushback in the United States is what we're seeing in Africa, where everyone is saying Africa is rising. Africans are pushing back at the white power structure. You're finding leaders in Africa standing up and pushing back at this. So all of this is happening simultaneously, where white folks are becoming very, very uncomfortable. So now their response to black fatigue is for them to colonize it and misinterpret that word to say black fatigue is white people tired of black people and their behavior in public. Can you imagine that? No. Black fatigue is us telling you we're sick and tired of you. We're sick and tired of all the speed bumps that you put in our way. We're sick and tired of all the institutional racism that we have to go through. We're sick and tired of all the discrimination that we go through. We're sick and tired of we calling this out. And then you telling us that we're ridiculous. We're ungrateful. We don't know what we're talking about. Or somehow minimizing our pain and our suffering just so you can feel comfortable. We're sick and tired of it. Black people all over the world are sick and tired of this. Our great-great-grandparents dealt with it. Our grandparents dealt with it. Our parents dealt with it. We are dealing with it. And our children are most likely going to deal with it. We're exhausted. Black people are tired. So black people are pushing out. And it's making white folks uncomfortable. So here's the thought for uncomfortable white people who are tired of hearing us call systemic racism out, call injustice out, call racial discrimination out. Here's the thought. How about you stop teaching your children to be racist? How about you stop passing that whole racist mindset from one generation to another generation? If you stop, I guarantee you, you won't have to have the mirror put up to your face. Because you can't tell me you're not teaching this to your kids. Because how is it that we were far gone? We've been almost 200 years far removed from slavery all over the world. And black folks are still being subjugated all over the world. Who's teaching that? So as long as you pass on that from generation to generation, then it is our responsibility to ensure that we call it out from generation to generation. Just like our great-great-grandparents called it out, just like our grandparents called it out, just like my father and your fathers called it out, I am calling it out, and I'm going to teach my kids to call it out. If you don't like it, stop teaching your kids to be racist. So to white folks who want to come and lie and say racism doesn't exist, how about we trade spaces? Because I guarantee you, if you ask most black people, would you like to trade places with white people? And when I mean trade places, I'm not talking about change skin colors. Because I think most black people say, no, I don't want to change my skin color. But let's just talk about changing and trading places where black folks, for one day or for a week, experience the privilege that white folks experience. If you ask most black people, I guarantee you 99.9% of black people will say, yes, I want to trade places. If you ask white folks the same question, they'll tell you no, they don't want to trade places. So if you don't want to trade places, then how is it that you're denying my black fatigue? That should be a thought, right? If you wouldn't trade places with me, that should tell you who's oppressed and who's oppressing. Because I think it's incredibly hypocritical for white folks to put a system in place to subjugate black people all over the world and then want to condemn us, right? Colonize our words when we call it out. I don't think so. So they want to occupy our space and say that they're the ones tired. Can you imagine the oppressor saying he's tired of hearing the oppressed call out his injustice? Can you imagine the one afflicting pain to another saying he's tired when the other cries out and say, you need to stop beating me, and stands up against him or her? Can you imagine that? And they put up this video, which I'm about to show you, to say that that's what they mean by black fatigue. Take a look at this. So that, in the minds of racist white people, is black fatigue. For them, black fatigue is black people acting out. That is not black people acting out. That right there is black people celebrating an achievement. Anyone looking at those black people in that video in their graduation ceremony, and you are calling them ratchet, or you think that they're acting out, you've never graduated. Anyone that will look at that video and say, oh, these guys are acting, you've never graduated. See, I've gone through graduation 3 times. I have 3 degrees. You don't know what it's like to have to sit through an educational system, whether it's high school or college, to have to go through the educational system that they put forth, to go through project after project, group project after project, read, take a class, pass it, and on top of it, deal with the situation you're dealing with every day as a black person. We have to work every day. You perhaps have to take care of a family every day. You doggone right, those people are justified in acting exactly the way they acted. I wish when I graduated, I wish I did exactly that. To look upon those kids, those black people in that video, and think that they were acting out because they're celebrating their moment of graduation. You've never graduated. Or even yet, you've never supported, you've never been a parent who supported a child who graduated. You've never been part of the community who supported a loved one being graduated. Because if you were your loved one who was at that moment celebrating the graduation like that, there's no way you're telling him or her to calm down. You've not gone through the educational system. I said to those people, kudos. Kudos. And you have people in the comment section condemning their act. You've not gone through educational system. There's no way. I wish I did that when I went through my graduations. So you have white folks now use that and say, that's black fatigue. No. No. And the audacity, the last clip you saw at the intro of this video, of that despicable white lady calling a 5-year-old the N-word. You see, this is the world we live in right now, where we as black people can call out the injustice of white people. We can call it out. We can literally go line by line and call out the racial discrimination in every sectors of life. And the only response to us doing that is to call our 5-year-olds the N-word. The only response, right, to our call out is to call our 5-year-old the N-word. Because they have nothing to refute our argument. They have nothing to fight against our argument. These are the people who had this type of thing passed on to them. And they're likely going to pass it on to their own children. And I say, lastly, black fatigue is real. I'm exhausted. I know you are. That's why the channel exists. And will continue to exist to call out the injustice. As long as people want to be racist and as long as people want to keep racism alive, we are going to be alive and well and strong and able-bodied to call it out. We're not going to keep quiet about it. And so may the Creator continue to walk with you and continue to shine upon you and continue to look upon you, and may the ancestors, our ancestors, continue to guide us through the fight and empower us with the weapons they have and much more for us to complete our journey. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video, share the content, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.
Och det jag lägger är min tid. Jag vill ha det. Du får mig känna safety. Jag kan nog leda baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än det.